this specialization, we've emphasized the need to market yourself. Today, we're going to talk to John about strategies for doing that.
Daniela, it's true that you need to market yourself to an employer, but there's actually a much larger strategy to think of first.
What's that?
Most candidates are self-centered. They're focused inward. They think about me, about their qualifications, their skills, their experiences. What can the job do for them?
That's understandable.
Sure, but I'm saying you need to shift your mindset. As you research competencies for a position, remember that the behavioral interviewing approach that we're talking about always looks at the employer's needs first. Your task is to think about how your competencies fit what the employer is looking for. Even though your first impulse will be to think about how the employer fits what you're looking for.
So communicating benefits to an employer is not about all of the great skills you bring. It's about how you can benefit them.
Right. When candidates go looking for a job, they often think, I need a job that has great pay, great benefits, and an excellent work environment. But employers are looking for a candidate that can deliver results. To think through the interview from the employer's point of view, that's a mindset shift.
You want to put yourself in the shoes of the organization that is looking to hire you.
Exactly. The interviewer is always considering three questions. Can you do the job? Will you do the job? And how well will you fit in with the organization's culture and people?
That's why you go through your competency research, isn't it? And work up your story file?
Yes. You identify the competencies needed for the position and you get ready to talk about them using the STAR elements.
So where exactly is the mindset shift?
You need to think about your stories from the interviewer's perspective. For example, the position at United Health is focused on innovation. That's a leading competency they're looking for. So in my stories, I'm looking to demonstrate that I'm an innovator.
How do you go about doing that?
Well, first, and this is key, I had to be honest with myself. Am I an innovator? It's easy to fool ourselves and think, sure, I can do that. But what are the characteristics of an innovator? Do I really have those? Where have I shown that?
So what did you do?
When I think of innovation, I think of Steve Jobs. He stands out as an innovator. He said, innovation distinguishes between a leader and a follower. So I have to ask myself honestly, am I a leader or a follower?
And you decided you're a leader?
I feel that I am. I'm creative. I feel that I'm an innovator. But am I really? So I did some research. Harvard Business Review ran an article about the 5 characteristics of successful innovators. The article highlighted the key difference between creativity and innovation. Innovation is execution, being able to turn an idea into a successful service or product.
So what did you do with that insight?
I thought, okay, United Health is looking for a project manager who can turn ideas about 21st century healthcare into a successful service. Do I believe I can do that? Why do I believe that? And can I demonstrate that to an interviewer?
So you're focusing on 3 key questions. Can you do the job? Will you do the job? Will you fit into the organization?
Exactly. So first, do I have an opportunistic mindset? Am I alert to new opportunities?
Because opportunities are at the heart of innovation.
Yes. And again, first I do my self-examination. Does that really fit into who I am? And I think, absolutely. I seek variety all the time. I like to try new foods, visit new places. I'm always looking at situations and thinking, how can I improve them? And I feel in my bones that I want to make an impact on the world, and especially in personal health.
So you're convincing yourself first.
Absolutely. Only if I'm convinced that I have what the organization is looking for will I be convincing to the interviewer.
So what's your next step?
I ask myself, do I have the training? Am I an expert in this field? And there, I have to admit to myself, I have a passion for healthcare, but I have a lot to learn. So that's going on my list of weaknesses. But I can turn it into a strength by emphasizing that I'm open to new ideas and willing to do the work to create them. I wouldn't be coming into United Health thinking, I have all the answers.
And you'll use that in your interview?
Almost certainly. We'll talk later about the weaknesses question, but I'll just say right now, I'm not approaching that question in a vacuum either. I'll look at that question from the employer's point of view as well.
Again, the leading question, can you do the job?
Yes. What doubts might they have? And have I thought about those beforehand? And can I answer those?
That makes sense. So you're shaping a strategy to United Health, not just in terms of stories that demonstrate your competencies, but also in terms of objections they might have?
Yes, I'm anticipating their objections, their doubts, which come again from the hard thinking I've put into my preparation, really thinking it through from the employer's point of view.
So what else does an innovator need?
An innovator needs persistence. Innovators face resistance. They have to. Innovation is bringing new ideas to life, to reality. So, am I driven, resilient, energetic?
And are you? What does your self-examination show?
Here I think I shine. I have a healthy dose of can do and will do. And I've got plenty of stories to back that up, so I have no doubts about my competency there.
And the fact that you're convinced...
Lets me be convincing. Exactly.
So where did you go next with your thinking?
Again, I'm using my research to guide my questioning. Back to the Harvard Business Review article, the author makes the point that successful innovators have a healthy dose of prudence. They do take risks, but contrary to what many people think, they're not reckless. They're organized, they plan, they monitor. Because, remember, innovation is execution.
And what did you discover about yourself there?
That resonates with me. The project I did with the youth group, I was the driving force behind organizing and planning. But I never lost sight of the long-term vision. I was patient enough to take the steps to get us there.
So what I hear you saying again and again is you ask questions from the employer's point of view, then examine yourself as if you were the interviewer.
And that's what I'm trying to do. And that's what's key here, Daniela, is I'm vetting myself. I'm thinking from the organization's point of view, or at least trying to, and asking myself, can I do this job? Do I have what it takes? And if I think the answer is no, I go on to another position.
But doesn't that open the door to self-doubt?
You have to distinguish between real self-understanding and false anxiety. I have to be honest with myself before I can be honest with anyone else. I understand what I can do. I can manage projects. But I'm not a medical expert. I'm not a database expert.
But those are key competencies, don't you think?
Sure, but that points to the social capital I can create. Can I build relationships? Can I build good connections and strong alliances, both internally and externally? Because I'll need to do that. Innovation is always the product of teams. Research shows that entrepreneurial people tend to have a high EQ and that...
John, some of our viewers might not know what EQ is.
Oh, yeah, thanks, Daniela. EQ, emotional quotient, or emotional intelligence. Can you recognize your own and other people's emotions? Can you use emotional information to guide thinking and action?
Sure, you can't be a stranger to yourself or others.
Exactly. It's EQ that enables an innovator to sell his ideas and strategy to others and communicate the core mission to the team.
And you feel you can do that?
Absolutely. I have the stories to back that up. That's how I approach any task, looking to put together a team. I know myself, that resonates with me.
So in the end, you convince yourself that you have the characteristics of a true innovator.
Yes, and the long-term vision to go with it. Healthcare, providing real solutions to as many people as I can, that's a meaningful mission to me. And I'm not faking that to get a job. I'm convinced, and so I can be convincing.
Leading from your why, that makes a lot of sense. John, we have to close here. Can you summarize the strategy for us?
What I'm talking about is working from an outward focus, moving off the inward focus. Successful marketing shifts the mindset from product features to customer benefits. Steve Jobs knew that most people don't buy a super megapixel camera. They just wanted simple to take, crystal clear, lifelike photos to share with their friends. The interview mindset shift is the same, moving from candidate features to employer benefits. From my qualifications to the employer's core competencies. That means putting the effort into thinking the job through from the employer's perspective. What are they looking for? Then being honest with yourself, looking at yourself from the employer's point of view, and going forward from there.
Thanks, John. I look forward to hearing what you do with this. And we'll see you all in the next module.